Hi everyone, Comic Reviewer here, this time reviewing on the Ghibli film Princess Mononoke. Now, as you know, Princess Mononoke is a 1997 animated epic historical fantasy film that was written and directed by Hayao Miyazaki, and again was another Ghibli film in the whole Ghibli film series. And of course, the film was a critical and commercial blockbuster that became the highest grossing film in Japan in 1997. Now, the premise of the film is meant to take place during Japan during approximately 1336 to 1573 CE. We see how in Moroshami, Japan, how a village is attacked by a dangerous demon, and we see how the last prince there, Hashitake, ends up killing and defeating the sort of demon, which turns out was a sort of ball that places him with the sort of curse that he was given, and of course journeys out to find a way to sort of stop the curse. And over the course of the film, we see how he eventually journeys to Irontown, where he later learns more truths about what's going on and tries to solve out the peace and conflict between the residents of Irontown as well as the resident of the woods. I would say the film is pretty much Japan's own version of Avatar before it became a thing. And I would say Hashitake's character does work, as he has more knowledge of the woods and does try to help the residents see reason. And I think when you've got San, a young woman who was raised by the wolves, you can tell she's a bit more hesitant and a bit more against the sort of residents there. And I think when you've got the villain, Lady Heibo-Shari, I think gets off a little too easy. But again, I feel like there were moments where they wanted to redeem her character and have her kind of question her actions. I think she gets off a little too easy, and I think this is the reason why I think you should always do a redemption arc. It will give people the understanding that not everyone's perfect, but at least you can kind of see why they're the way they are. And I think the way I see San and Hashitake are two different characters. Like Hashitake being a bit more mindful, but knowing full well the repercussions that can come from one person's actions. And I think when you've got San, you can tell she does try to fight for the woods, but you can tell later does become a friend to Hashitake. And yeah, the film does feel similar to Avatar. And I think much like Hashitake, you can tell much like Jake, does try to find a peaceful way of solving the problems. And much like San, who is meant to be based with nativity, is obviously meant to be a bit more mindful of the woods and that. And I think when you've got Lady Io-Shari, who's meant to be the villain, similar to Miles Quartz, is meant to be similar, but I think gets off way too easy. Well, Miles Quartz got his comeuppance by finally sort of getting slain for his actions and misdeeds. I think if they had San become the new resident of Irontown and able to lead the people to a better life, and have it that Lady Io-Shari and those who support her be exiled, this would have shown her to sort of help the people lead a better life, and her sort of taking on the mantle. And yeah, I would say the film isn't afraid to be too violent, because we do see how Hashitake realizes his super strength when he kind of has the sort of demon-like curse, and sort of still try to kind of play the supporting role in the residents of Irontown. I think while the film isn't afraid to kind of show Hashitake knowing about the woods, the other residents on the woods, as well as trying to help the residents of Irontown, I think the film definitely misses a few marks, and I think definitely feels like we are supposed to know more about San, but it would have been interesting to see Hashitakia sort of taking on the role to get to know San a bit more better. I think the film isn't perfect because, yeah, it kind of enforcively redeems the villain, despite the fact he went way too far. And I think this is a reason why I think you should always be careful when redeeming a villain, because it will always give people the wrong idea that forgiveness is easy. I think while the film isn't perfect, it still tries to deliver a good message. So, like I said, it deserves a thumbs in the middle. It's kind of alright, kind of okay, and this was pretty much Japan's Avatar before it became a real thing. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.